every struggle and raising a kid on your own as young as Eon, doing it
Mm.
all by yourself in a foreign land. Like it's a struggle, but it can, like, it's possible to survive. It's possible.
So, Sis Via, thank you for allowing me to interview you. Going back sa question ko, how did you and your husband meet?
Okay, so we met in Philippines, pero before that, my correspondence na kami through like a pen pal na site that time. Pero it's not like we were trying to date each other. Basically, it was purely asking about traveling to my region, which is in Mindanao. Because that time he resigned from his job and he was interested to travel in Philippines, particularly in Mindanao. So, nag-ask siya ng question. Really, it was just that. Like, he asked
Mm.
questions about the places he should go, things that he should, like, I guess, take note of. So I
Mm.
just answered them, and then I did leave him my contact number in case na he gets into trouble. That
Mm.
was when he was about to come back to Korea na. So he did contact me asking if I was in Davao City, which is my hometown, but I don't live and work that time sa Davao. So he
Mm.
asked me if I was in Davao, and coincidentally I was, kasi may conference ako. So we had lunch, and long story short, he said fell in love at first sight or something. So
Mm.
he asked me to date him right there and then. Tapos he canceled his flight to Korea, and he went with me to my work area. So sumama siya sa akin na malayo-malayo and quite dangerous and risky. He went with
Mm.
me. That's how our love story started.
Pero sis,
So
kinasal ba kayo sa Pilipinas? Di ba?
no, sa Korea kami kinasal.
Dito sa Korea. Oo.
Uh,
Anong year, sis? Anong year?
it was mostly just document work. Parang
Ah,
civil wedding.
oh, pero dito na sa Korea.
Yeah, sa
Oo.
Korea. Nag-tourist visa lang ako after I
Mm.
ended my contract because patapos na din ang contract ko with my NGO that time. Tapos he said like, but before that he proposed already, so I know I'm not
Mm.
gonna extend my job there. So yun, nagplano na as soon as my contract ends, I would travel to Korea. Tapos timing din birthday month ko nun, and then we got married few days after my birthday.
So anong year yun, sis, nung ikinasal kayo?
17. Oh wait,
20,
2016.
2016, so
Yes.
2016. So dito ikinasal kayo, meron bang changes sa ugali ng husband mo na na-notice mo or?
It was kasi after we got married, I have to go back sa Philippines para mag-process ng visa kasi not allowed here na mag-process ng F6 mismo, 'di ba?
Mm.
So during that time, it was a struggle, but he was fine. He was still the same.
Mm.
Notice ko lang gradually the different, like some changes when I came to settle here. Tapos doon kami nakatira sa nanay niya. Ever since I settled in Korea, I felt
Mm.
the cultural difference more. Like
Mm.
he became like Korean because the reason why I was like trusting or kind of felt comfortable with him, because basically he's not like the typical, I thought was it the typical Korean guy.
Mm.
Really
Mm.
matched like magkasundo sa humor and everything else.
Mm.
Plus he's quite the smart guy. Pero
Mm.
no, dito na, I guess because the influences around are really
Mm.
stronger.
Ng asawa
So
mo, para lang clear din no sa mga manonood, wala
yes,
kayong language barrier. Both of you communicate
yes,
in English.
yes.
Mm.
He has like above average or almost fluent level
Mm. Mm.
English.
And then hindi din magkalayo talaga yung age ninyo.
No, your
Oo.
age gap.
Oo, one year age gap. Oo. So sis, mga anong year nung after ikinasal kayo, anong year mo na-realize sa sarili mo na you don't want to continue with the marriage, you want to, give up na kung ano.
So it was quite complicated because there were several times. The struggle mostly was because of his mother.
Mm.
Tapos, yung impluwensyahan na siya that he would not listen and believe me. Doon siya sa kind of toxic mom niya.
Mm.
Mostly naniniwala. Even though how many times he admitted na, the mom is really crazy according to his term. Tapos, there were many times I wanted to just come back home. Pero, knowing our concept about marriage as Filipinos, we just don't give up easily. Especially school. I'm the type of person that never gives up until like the end, like as much as possible. If kaya pa, tiis. So like that's how I handle life usually. So I made a commitment to this guy to stay through thick and thin. So kaya kung kaya patiisin, as long as I could see na he's still also trying, then okay. The turning point, I guess, was when I found out that he was cheating.
Oh.
In the sense that he was contacting other women because he worked as part of an overseas sales team. So he's often abroad. Like I never sensed anything. That's the problem. I just trusted him so much. And then wala namang pagbabago. Every time he comes home, we contact every day. We even video call no matter the time difference. Tapos every pag uwi niya, he's so excited to see me. He misses me and stuff like that. And then it was just an accident that I found out.
Oh.
So yun. And then before I could make any major decision whether I would stay or not, I found out I was pregnant.
Dahil sa pregnancy mo, sis, kumbaga, binigyan mo pa siya ng isa pang pagkakataon.
Yes, the thing was, he, even though we knew na I was already pregnant, he still kept doing it. He was the one who actually demanded a divorce.
Wow.
He was at fault, but he was the one who demanded divorce kasi sabi niya, ayaw niya daw matikman the revenge I would do towards him. He assumed I would revenge. I would avenge myself for what he did. Trying to get pregnant for more than 2 years. So, alam mo natin yung andito na, happy na sana, but then I found that out. And then I did not know that he has been doing it for 2 years. So I found out after 2 years.
Wow.
I got pregnant.
Oo. Pero hindi talaga siya nagbago kahit na alam niya na buntis ka o dapat.
Yeah, he still, yun, nahuhuli ko na may mga kachat-kachat pa rin pag nasa abroad siya. Tapos he wanted divorce then. He did not, I was in my first trimester, he did not care. I keep on getting sick, hindi ako kumakain. Wala akong gana. I was really depressed the whole time. I was just crying. Tapos yun, napupumilit talaga siya na divorce. Tapos medyo nagbago lang siya nung around second trimester na medyo lumalaki na ang tiyan ko kasi medyo matagal kasi I keep on losing weight. So I did not get pregnant until like later in the second trimester. So I guess nung nakita na niyang heartbeat and the shape ng bata, parang doon na parang nabuksan ata mata or utak niya na this is getting real, like this is a living baby. So he tried to make amends that time. So that's when I thought like, okay, maybe there's a chance because he was treating me really well. He was getting serious and stuff. Tapos, he was taking care of me. So yun. And then everything was going well until I gave birth. He was really an amazing husband who took care of me. Na after ko nanganak, he was there the whole time. And then my son was just few weeks old. And he had to go back abroad again. And then I found out, I did tell him, I did remind him that time na, we have a baby already. I trust you. So please, like, behave yourself. He was in Russia that time. And then knowing how, I know it's a stereotypical, but like, my thing kasi ang some Koreans with Russian, like they think that Russian girls are here, are this and that. So
Mm.
I was a bit concerned. So kaya nag-remind lang ako. I even
Mm.
sent a love letter for him to bring sa trip niya. And then I did just, not in a nagging way, but it was like more of like, we have a son now. I hope
Mm.
you behave and you know what you're supposed to not do. Tapos, yun, sabi niya na, of course, like, I know, blah, blah, blah. But then
Mm.
the instinct is really strong, became stronger nung naging mom
Mm.
ako. So I decided to do like some, and
Mm.
I confirmed that, yeah, he was still using applications and he was still trying to talk to women. The thing is, I don't have proof. He keep on saying that chat lang daw. He never
Mm.
met one. But the thing is, he was there for like a week or so. So
Mm.
there's no way I could not say that he did not meet anyone.
Tama.
Because I
Mm.
even saw a message that he was saying that, oh, I'm staying at this place and I guess your location is far. May mga ganong peg. And then after I showed him my proof,
Mm.
my evidences, sabi ko sa kanya, I want a divorce and I want to bring back our son together
Mm.
with my parents. That was before COVID hit Korea. So
Mm.
it was 2 years ago, around February,
Mm.
January. No, no, it was around December, end of December. Almost,
2000. Mm.
yes. So yun, and then he was shocked, blah, blah, blah. And my parents were shocked. Actually, tinago ko sa family ko everything that I've been through in Korea. So my mom was so shocked knowing everything kasi narinig niya nung yung word na divorce. Tapos
Mm.
siya, anak lang. Tapos she saw how me and my husband treat each other. So she was like, wait, what? Like, saan
Mm.
lang bakit diretso divorce? So that's when I told my mom exactly what's been happening and I've been hiding from them. So
Mm.
yun, na-shock. Tapos, my parents tried to convince me to give it a chance to forgive him and stuff like that. Basta marami pong nangyari in between. Long story short, my parents went back to Philippines by themselves.
Mm.
Iwan kami ni Ion because yun nga, nadala ako sa isipin mo ang bata. It's better for the child to grow with two parents. Just forgive your son. Forgive the father, blah, blah, blah. So yun, pinagbigyan. But then it only lasted for 2 months and then he
Mm.
demanded divorce. Siya talaga
Mm.
nagde-demand natin.
Oh.
Siya yung feeling.
Mm.
So yun,
Siya talaga yung ano, yung may lakas ng loob na mag-file.
talaga, na din ako. So, okay, fine, let's file for divorce. Pero yung first filing namin, syempre, ang hirap. Like, I was devastated. Hormones, everything. Nag-separate din kami noon. So, mag-isa lang ako sa bahay, not knowing what to do, how to handle a newborn baby. Wala na si mama kasi umuwi na. So, it was very overwhelming. Umiiyak ako sa gabi, tapos maririnig mo sinasabi na, huwag ka masyadong sad, huwag ka magpa-depress kasi yung bata maapektuhan or yung ano yun, yung gatas mo hihina, like isipin mo ang bata. So it was like such a struggle because it's like, when will I have time for myself? Like, when am I allowed to feel what I'm supposed to feel? Kasi puro parang I'm being guilt into just like forgetting about myself kasi unahin mo ang bata. So it was
And then,
so difficult. Nung 1 month na lang naiwan kasi pag may anak kasi dito, tapos magdi-divorce, 3 months kasi yung waiting period.
oh.
So you have to wait for 3 months and then you have to comply with the requirements before mag-proceed sa final court date. We did
Mm.
do the requirements, 1 month na lang naiwan, and he decided to come back. Just that, I
Parang
was may ticket na kami ni Ion ate. Pauwi na kami dapat ng Pinas. I was supposed to pack up our stuff. May ticket
mm.
na kami. That time, hindi pa nag-hit ang corona sa Pilipinas. Wala pang,
Mm.
it would have been the perfect time.
Mm.
Pero siya. And then I said, let's still proceed with the like requirements just in case na mabaliw ka na naman and you want out. At least
Mm.
like anong gagawin, let's just finalize it. Kasi syempre, after the emotional and mental like turmoil and everything and stress na binigay niya sa akin, how could he think he could just come back? And
Mm.
tatanggapin ko lang like, okay, like,
Mm.
okay, let's do it again, let's try it again. Na parang as if wala lang. Eh,
Mm.
ayaw niya ate, ayaw niya mag-cooperate. So,
Mm.
natapos na lang yung, ano yun, natapos na lang yung period ng divorce thing, the meaning, na-cancel na yung application. Tapos, well, it was okay. He was helping out. He was being a good dad for 2 months, 3 months. And again, yun, medyo lumala na siya. Hence, the second filing
Mm.
before nag 1 year si Ion, October, yeah, 2 years, I guess a year ago.
Mm.
Yun, nag second filing. That time, he was really a different person. He really transformed into like literally a monster.
Wow.
Because he was so desperate to really get out of the marriage. So it was, yeah, it was kind of traumatic.
Pero grabe,
He,
hindi ko ma-imagine yung mga pinagdaanan mo. Tapos, yung asawa mo parang ano siya, yung immature na ano, yung parang mas ano pa siya, yung decision niya, pabago-bago, parang sobra pa siya sa babae.
ganyan siya, like, he cannot stick to his decision plus the consequences. So
Oh.
I've noticed that, and I thought he would outgrow that. Kasi
Mm.
hello to na kami. We were together a total of 6 years. So
Oo.
I thought, like, na once we become parents, that he would also grow up like
Mm.
that. But as the responsibility freaked him out, at the same time, he wasn't happy with the job. And then, kasi siya yung magiging breadwinner eh. Kasi syempre focus ako sa baby. So I
Mm.
guess taking care of two people with a job na parati siya nasa abroad.
Mm.
Tapos medyo toxic yung work life niya. That's when he decided like, nah, I cannot do this. Like I'd rather live alone. So
Mm.
you're gonna notice na he has narcissistic tendencies. So it was really more about himself. He doesn't care about anything anymore. So he gaslighted me so
Mm.
much. He made me think. He blamed everything to me. Lahat kasalanan ko. Tapos, kahit na ako yung nag-carry mostly ng responsibilities, kahit na nag-take siya ng paternity leave for a year.
Mm.
He's the one doing most of the stuff at home, pero nagde-demand pa rin siya na I should serve him a king.
Oo.
And when nag-reverse yung role na siya yung nagluluto, siya yung naglilinis, siya ang nagrereklamo ate. So, di ba, kaloka siya. Like, pag ako naman gumagawa ng ganun, parang wala lang sa kanya. Like, maybe because he's still pretty much like yung influence sa kanya na men are this level,
Tama.
the women are supposed to just be here. So,
Mm.
ganun yung pag-isip niya na I should be able to do everything and not complain about it. And I should be grateful to him like so much if he does try to help me out. He knows my personality and the way I think is so not Asian and so not typical na Asian babae. So
Mm.
I would always tell him like, no, you got two hands, two legs. You're not baldado and everything, and you're not the one breastfeeding the child. You're not the one like losing sleep.
Mm.
Like you're not even working. So like,
Mm.
what's your excuse?
Okay.
His reason to divorce me was just that. As in
Mm.
ate, like super babaw. Like ang number one reason niya is the Korean food I cook doesn't taste like his mother's cooking.
Mm.
Ganun siya kababaw. Tapos I don't serve him like a Korean wife does. And
Mm.
I did not try my best to go in Korea. Ganun yung reasons niya to divorce me. So super babaw lang talaga ate. Kasi
So, yung
he's just
process
trying.
ng divorce ninyo, hindi siya nagtagal, di ba? Kasi mutual yung, oo.
Mutual meaning like uncontested divorce. So we both agreed to
Mm.
end marriage. So 3 months lang the most ang waiting period.
Tapos na-approve siya kaagad. Pero
Yes.
agreement na yun, sis, kasama doon na meron siyang support kay Ion.
So, dapat, andun, kasali siya. Yes.
Pero magkano yung naibigay niya?
That part also, I got scammed. Kasi, ang sabi niya, ang mabibigay lang niya sa akin is 10 million won. I thought the 10 million won is supposed to be just my alimony or pang-start lang ng buhay namin ni Ion. But, for some reason, I don't know ko bakit nag-agree ako. Maybe I was just so stressed or hindi ko lang naisip talaga anong minimin niya. Half of that money, nilagay deposit sa bahay. So, ganun siya kawais, ate. Nilagay as deposit sa bahay. So, I was left with just less than 5 million won to start my life with Ion. And then nung one shot niya binigay ha, kasi may option kasi na whether monthly ganitong amount or one shot na amount. Ang nangyari pa is a friend of mine recently looked at my divorce paper and then she asked me how could I agree that only money he would give me was the 10 million won until 18 years old si Ion. So basically, the 10 million won was everything he was willing to give Ion until he's 18. When the judge asked me, nag-hesitate ako whether I should say na actually half lang ng pera natanggap ko. Pero kasi, dineposit niya is, the amount though. Okay. So, ang amount na talaga na binigay niya is what's left over after paying the deposit. So kung inamin ko yung sa korte, wala actually siyang proof mapakita na nagbigay siya ng 10 million won.
Napaka-wais niya talaga.
Ate, clearly pinagplanuhan na niya talaga. And the sad thing was, nobody that time ever tried to argue for my sake. Like, yung counselor sa Tamunwa, the minimum actually amount na nakalagay dun sa document is 20 million won. Pero sa even half pa talaga kasi ang pera na sa deposit sa bahay. So, wala, hindi nag-comment. Tapos, ang tinanong lang mostly sa why kayo magdi-divorce is siya. Kasi mas busy ako fill up ng sangkatutak na documents. Tapos yung binigay pa sa akin na translator ko that time na Pinay is parang hindi din siya masyado ganun kakabisado kaya matagal kami. 1 hour lang kasi ang counseling, ate. Yung 1 hour ko natapos lang sa ganun. Tapos yung questions mostly sa akin is like, kaya mo bang buhayin ng bata mag-isa? Anong balak mong balak mong gawin sa buhay mo para buhay mo ang bata? Mostly ganun. Pero never sila nag-ask sa kanya like, what about you? Like as a father, like what are you gonna do? Like how will you co-parent? Wala. Ate, mas nag-focus pa ang judge kasi hindi kami naglagay ng specific visitation schedule. Kasi ang usapan namin that time is whenever hindi niya pwede bisitahin si Ion whenever he wants. It should be approval kasi hindi din ako papayag na silang lang dalawa. Because I want to make sure na there's no chance na he could run away and or something, hide him. So kailangan na may mutual approval and agreement naming dalawa if he wants to visit and see Ion and spend time with him. So hindi nakalagay sa specific schedule dun sa divorce document. Napansin ng judge yun. And the judge, instead of caring about how the little money my ex was gonna give us, mas nag-care pa siya dun sa visitation rights. So we argued, spent time arguing about it, na kahit yung assistant sa korte tumulong na sa amin explain sa judge. Kasi ang point ko lang talaga is, kasi sabi niya na may karapatan pa rin ng tatay makita ang anak niya, blah, blah, blah. Sabi ko, I'm not taking that away from the father. Ang point visitation rights, why sa visitation schedule, why hindi nakalagay. Kasi syempre, hindi pwede na whenever lang gusto makita ng tatay, makikita niya ang anak niya. Meaning, kailangan muna, pag-usapan muna namin. Kasi syempre, kung magtatrabaho ako, hindi ako available, di ko pwede iwan lang ang anak ko sa kanya. And hindi ako kayad ng ganun. So, in-explain, may kasama ko si Ate Yvette, who was my translator that time. Translate niya. Ayaw ako tantanan ng judge. So, mas focus sila doon, ate. Kasi sa fact na walang suporta or not enough support ang willing ibigay nung ex ko.
Oo.
Kaya, so medyo natagalan.
Pero sis, yung ex mo ngayon is andito ba sa Korea?
Nope, he run away.
Oh,
Yeah.
talagang hindi na talaga nagparamdam ever sa'yo.
After the divorce, here and there, medyo nakakausap, nako-contact pa. Pero napansin ko na ang weird ng schedule, ang weird ng time na nagre-reply siya. Tapos try ko tawagan, out of service, or parang, saan lupalop ako ng Korea? Bakit hindi center? Kasi gusto ko nga mag-apply for the single parent na benefit. Pero sa DOCON or sa house registration, sila ni Ion ang magkasama. So tinawagan ko siya na, teka, may aayusin ka pa. Doon ko nalaman na wala pala siya sa Korea kasi hindi ko makontak. Tapos after that, foreign operator, foreigner language, ibang langwahe ang sumagot no sa. So I asked him like, teka, bakit hindi Korean yung sumagot na operator? Saan ka ba? Wala ka sa Korea. Tapos yung kinonfirm niya na wala siya sa Korea. He never told me anything. He never asked permission like, I'm gonna leave Korea. Until now, ate, hindi niya sasabihin kung saan siya.
Yung divorce ninyo, nung process kayo ng divorce, hindi mo ba makita sa asawa mo na parang, talagang nasasaktan din siya dahil for Iyon, syempre, as a dad, kung mahal mo yung anak mo, di ba?
No.
As in talaga, wala talaga siyang,
The fact natin na yung COVID money ni Ion, he even took it for himself without telling. I just learned nung balak kong kunin sana. Tapos sinabi ko sa akin na, in-apply naman ng asawa mo. And he gave me, hindi ako sinabihan. Siya yung kumuha, ate. And that time, kinuha niya sa Pochon, yung previous city namin, na mas malaki yung binigay. That time, 100,000 lang to the rest of the country. Pochon gave 300,000 per person.
Ikwento mo, parang wala kang regrets at all.
No, like maybe what I regretted was, well, I tried to not live. Like it's like I'm the type of person, I really think hard before I make any decision. At the same time, pananagutan ko whatever consequence. Like I would own up to it. If I failed, okay, I failed, and I'm gonna learn from it. But regret siguro, I wish I left sooner.
Yun yung pinagsisisihan mo.
Yung sana hindi ako nadala sa, alam mo yung sa, I guess, the very archaic concept natin sa Pilipinas na, like, no matter even if you're so abused and it's such a toxic relationship, okay, you gotta stay for the sake of the kids, that the child needs two parents, blah, blah, blah. Because if I would have left, I guess I would have saved myself the anguish, the mental abuse, the mental and the emotional na pain. Like I wouldn't have suffered that much. I would have already been back home with my family, living my life, doing what I want, plus like being like, I guess, the best mother to Ion, at the same time having help. But, well, it's too late.
Siguro sis, kasi ngayon magkasama naman kayo ni Ion, di ba? At least nasa sayo si Ion, and ikaw free ka na sa yung toxic marriage.
Yes.
You are much happier now.
Yeah.
Stress-free. Sis, last na lang sis, ano ang may advice mo sa mga, mga moms din, mga wives na naka-experience din sa ganitong klaseng, toxic relationship? Anong may advice mo?
Actually, galing din sa ating group, may mga natatanggap din akong PM and stuff, and they also like parang may dilemma whether to stay or not. Plus that fear na baka mawala yung, kasi sa atin kasi anak yung pinaka-importante eh. Like it doesn't matter basta yung pag ma-threaten, kasi dumaan din ako sa ganyan ate. I was threatened to be deported, tapos lalabanan niya daw ang custody, kaya that's how he was able to control the conditions ng divorce. I had to like let go kasi ang akin, importante sa akin is hindi niya lalabanan ng custody.
Mm.
Yun, but like what I could always say kasi 'di ba, I know there are several, not only Filipinos, but like from different countries as well, that they undergo divorce, whether physical, emotional, mental, financial abuse. Abuse is abuse. And I understand, especially sa atin na mga Filipina, we grew up like we have no divorce until now, and we always learned about like family is about having a mom and a dad and the kids. And if mawala yung isa, it's like not normal anymore. So what I could say is that we have to somehow change that kind of mindset na di porket ina tayo, we have to sacrifice like our dignity, our self, overall health, even for the sake of the kids. Because like I think that to be an effective and good mother, you have to be happy yourself. Because ano yung nararamdaman mo, ano yung actions mo, and what you put out there is what your kids will see. So if they see a mom na disrespected by the dad, the kids would grow up thinking that's fine. So if we have daughters, they would think, yeah, that's the normal way of a man should treat us. And if we have sons, they would think like, yeah, my mom is fine to be treated that way, or like I should treat women that way too. So kasi child protection officer din ako, so back home, so I've encountered so many kinds of kids, problematic kids and abused kids, and I've always really believed that it starts really at home. So how it is at home, there's a higher chance we would already predict how our kids also grow up. So if we would maintain a toxic environment and a toxic example for the kids, for the sake na my mother and father, I think that our kids would grow up as like the persons that we wish and hope that they would be. So what I want to say is that before we became moms, we are women ourselves. So we shouldn't forget ourselves. And I even think we have to think about ourselves first. It's like, for example, if you're so weak and like you're abused and battered and you're not thinking right, you're not thinking straight, there is always an effect of how we deal with our kids. Yung stress, tapon sa bata. Tapos, like, don't project kasi. So that's why, like, it's really hard being a single parent, especially dito sa Korea. Like, I'm still struggling until now. I'm not getting support even from the government. I'm still trying. Pero I've always thought that this is the best way I could save my son, and I could like raise him to be the person that I hope that he would be. I have to like give up that ideal notion about having the mother father kind of family for his own sake, because I don't want him growing up thinking that what his father's doing and how his father's treating me is the right way. Kasi ayoko din na lalaki siya, babastusin din ako, or mambabastos siya ng babae. Kasi my ex-husband also grew up in such a toxic environment. His parents did divorce, but only waited until he's an adult. And he say he wished that his parents divorced earlier. That he did not grow up seeing them like really just horrible to each other. Blah, blah. So it really somehow shaped also his mind thinking. He tried. I could see that he tried because he wanted to have like a family that's not like his. He tried, but I guess may mga bagay lang talaga na you cannot unlearn, or it takes a lot of, I guess, growing up before you can unlearn the things na, we saw growing up ourselves. Kasi even me, I can remember many things that like I don't approve of. I saw between my parents, like there were several instances that I told my mom already. I'm an adult. I told my mom that why did you stay? Like this is not a good example for us, your daughters, it's like you're showing us that it's okay to be treated this way. And then that time was saying like you would understand once you get married or once you get kids. And I do because for a while I did try. Even though nang lugi, okay, I have to try for the sake of my child. But then one thing, because marriage cannot work with just one person trying.
Tama.
And once you're drained, wala, tapos na. Better to leave na may iwan ka pang spirit within. And I really don't have regrets. Like, anyway, divorce is kind of common here in Korea anyway. I know in Philippines, no, but like, I keep on saying divorce should already be a thing in Philippines because ang daming toxic families, ang daming toxic marriages and like women out there. Like, yeah, we have to also think about ourselves because a happy mom will raise happy kids. And like we have to be we are the best examples for our kids. And kahit na hindi natin alam, but our kids watch us and observe us more than we know. So away, the way we talk to our spouse, the way we interact with them, away ba o hindi, our kids watch and see that and they sense it. So they would grow up carrying whatever memories and images that they have seen. So you like just always like also think about yourself, how you're valued by your parents. If like this person that you married is not treating you the way you deserve, then you better think about it. Because it's better to raise your kid alone, at least in an environment na kahit na mahirap kasi mag-isa, but at least you're at peace. That's way better than to be with someone who doesn't respect you at all. And risking your life, your holistic health, plus the life of your kids and their welfare as well. So you have it go. Like it's very hard. It takes a lot of courage, a lot of prayers, a lot of thinking. But at the end of the day, only you can save yourself. Only you could fight for yourself. You cannot expect a person who is a stranger, basically. You marry them, but you don't know 5 years, 10 years, 8, whatever, 20 years from now, if they will still be the same person. Yun yung tutunan ko talaga ate. Because like, who would get into marriage thinking of divorce or breaking up? Nobody. Especially sa atin, we marry for love usually. But like, you cannot predict. Yun lang, you really cannot tell how a person would be in years to come or how they would be depending on the circumstances of where we are in life. So it's very important to keep hold of who you are as a person and of your value, and then always assess yourself if you're still happy, if you're still being respected. Communicate with the spouse if you feel like you're not being respected anymore or like you're not really treated well. Pero may mga tao talaga na toxic. May tao talagang narcissistic. May tao talagang could be psychotic. Gamot sa ganun. So the only way you could really do is save yourself. We cannot change another person. Only we could change ourselves. Only we could do something about it. So yun talaga ang biggest lesson ko. I was sure like disappointed that I thought that the man, I would spend my entire life with turned out that way, but I have learned to forgive myself and not blame myself because for a long time I have. Like I thought like I was smart enough. I should have known. Pero hindi ko nakasalanan if he was that kind of person or he chose to be that person. So that's why I opted and chose myself this time and my son. Because my son deserves a mom who's happy.
Interview na to.
So yun.
And I am just so happy kasi hindi ka takot na, pag-usapan ang nangyari sa'yo at yung mga na-experience mo dahil sa divorce and sa ex-husband mo na din.
I have nothing to be ashamed about. And like like this is the reality, this is my life, and I have learned from other strong women as well, and I'm thankful that they shared how what they went through, and they
Yes.
helped me a lot. So I want to be the same person to other women as well, especially sa kapwa Filipina who I
Yes.
know culture with the cultural thing that we have, maybe
Mm-mm.
struggling to
Mm-mm.
break away from the typical norms that we have sa culture natin. So like kahit na, you know, sometimes I kind of disagree with some thoughts and thinking of other people, especially yung parating Filipino about like how, you know, family should be blah blah blah, or how women should be treated. It's like
Mm-mm.
no, I really don't agree with many things, and I'm not scared to
Mm-mm.
say it because if it can save someone, if it can help
Yes.
and encourage someone, I would do it. Like I don't care. Like
Mm-mm.
I know, cliche as it sounds, life is so short. I've seen it. I've seen it so much, many
Mm-mm.
times in my job before. How like one person could be here in a few minutes, they're not there anymore. So that's
Mm-mm.
why like I have nothing to be to fear about. Like when people ask me what are you scared about, most ng fear ko is about Ion. But
Mm-mm.
personally, I don't have fear about anything. Dying, I know it's possible. It's like everybody is gonna die, but it's like for me, I just have to live my life the way that I think it should be lived, not by the standards of other people, but according to what I think and how I should live. And as long as, you know, if getting my story across can help someone, like I would do it. Ano
Wow.
na, ilabas si Wonder Woman. Kayang-kaya.
Ay, ayan, medyo na ano na, I'm sure na ano, kailangan mo nang sunduin si Ion. So, so,
I'm so
oh,
sorry.
so sis, hanggang dito na lang yung yung interview ko sa'yo, but I'm really thankful. I really appreciate you sharing with us your story. Hindi ka nag-alinlangan, nagdalawang isip na i-share kasi nga ang goal mo din is to empower kapwa Pinay moms or wives, especially yung mga andito sa Korea ngayon. So, I'm very thankful. Salamat ulit sa'yo.
Oh, thank you so much, Ate. It's nice talking to you, even though like just from video call.